What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Absolutely April, here for another recap. And you know by the title, it is Grey's Anatomy. You know I'm a Grey's Anatomy super fan, so here we go. First of all, I want to thank you all for tuning in to this video. If you are here for the first time, I'm Absolutely April, and I do recaps on TV shows, reality shows, movies. I might throw some spirituality tips in there. You just never know what you're going to get from me. So you might as well go ahead and subscribe, join my tribe. I love community and I want to foster a great positive community that has different opinions. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit that like button, share this video with a friend, and also hit that notification bell so you'll be notified about all of my uploads. And if you're returning, I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. It makes my heart smile when I see new subscribers. So welcome to my new subscribers. And thank you for tuning in again to hear another recap from your girl. So let's get into it. We are in Grey's Anatomy. Again, this is one of my favorite shows on earth. And, I feel like I was a low-key doctor in another lifetime. That was one of the first things I wanted to do in life was to be a doctor. So when I watch Grey's Anatomy, it feels those things it kind of fills me up, like, just the doctor jargon. I know it's loosely based off of being a doctor, but I just like it because I get immersed in it, in the drama and all that stuff. So said all that to say, I'm your Grey's Anatomy super fan. So it starts out with Amelia's boo, Kai, comes back in and surprises her. I really enjoy her and Kai. At first I was like, dang, I wanted her and Link to stay together, but I think I'm enjoying her and Kai. And Kai is a shorty. I can understand when I say shorty, I mean they are very attractive. So I feel like, I can understand what Amelia sees in Kai. And Kai just seems like they are, I don't know, Kai has this like sex appeal, and I feel like that's what gravitates Amelia to Kai. That's what I see. I don't know. I could be wrong, but she seems like they both really like each other. You could tell. But I'm enjoying this relationship with Amelia, and Amelia is not spinning out of control for the first time in a long time. We see Amelia kind of grounded and down to earth. Amelia gets to get wrapped up and getting so what do you call it? She just starts to spin out of control, and I don't know. I think Kai keeps her grounded. I like this Amelia. I like Amelia and Kai. So I am now a fan of Amelia and Kai. So moving on, Zola is still having panic attacks, and she's now missing school. So Meredith has her at the hospital. She's supposed to be doing her homework, but Zola wants to get into the into the watching surgeries. She wants to see all of that. She wants to get into that. She does not want to talk about the American Revolution. She wants to do, what her mom does. You could definitely tell, even though she's not biologically Meredith's and Derek's, she has like the best of both of them. I can definitely see her being double board certified, maybe even triple board certified. And then on top of that, she has Aunt Amelia and Maggie, who are also great surgeons in their own right. Like, you can't help but be a good surgeon. And even though it's, she's not, their biological daughter, she's gifted as hell. I mean, it's amazing what just what little Zola can do. So I'm really liking this. I'm hoping that she can get past these panic attacks. Maybe she needs to be homeschooled. I don't know. I hate that Zola is going through that. School isn't for everybody. School is not for everybody. I did well in school, but I would have preferred to do more stuff, like hands-on stuff. That's how I learned best. So when I did science and biology, I enjoyed the dissection part because I got to really be hands-on with the stuff. So I enjoyed those when we did experiments and stuff like that in chemistry. So maybe Zola is looking to do something more hands-on versus just sitting here getting, old history facts and just learning, because that can become a little bit boring. So Bailey walks in. Let me see if I have that. I have a little some slides here. So let me see. Yeah. So Bailey walks in, and she is now she's doing stuff with sex ed for the community. And so she has an idea to help students in Tuck's grade to talk to them about sex ed, because we all know, you know, about 4 or 5 months now, they overturned Roe versus Wade. So this is a big theme on the show right now. So Bailey wants to do her part to keep people from not having to get, the A word, and not having to get that, because a lot of states are shutting down the capability of getting those A words. So she wants to be able to help kids to practice safe, relations. So that's what her mission is at this point, and she's very invested in it. And she has pulled in the great Addison Montgomery. I enjoy seeing Addison Montgomery come back. I know she is Derek's ex, and her and Meredith had quite the tough 2 seasons, 2 or 3 seasons. It was kind of tough when she was going back and forth, when Addison was going back and forth for Derek, and Meredith was still there, trying to go through life without Derek, and it wasn't working for her. But now these two are really good, and I always love to see when Addison comes back. So Addison is helping Dr. Bailey, to figure out a way to get the message out to these kids. And Joe, who's also in OBGYN now, she wants to also help. So they've come up with scripts for the interns to read, to give the information to these kids. So let's see. So Marsh, which is, Meredith's boyfriend, Dr. Marsh, he gives Bailey privileges. Because Meredith low-key probably wants Bailey to come back to resume her chief roles, but Bailey's not trying to hear that right now. So Meredith wants to go ahead and release those duties back to Bailey, but Dr. Bailey ain't trying to hear it. And so she was like, how you just gonna take all the interns and give them to Bailey? And he's like, do you know Bailey? I can't say no to Bailey. Nobody in this office likes to go toe-to-toe with Bailey. The only person who really goes toe-to-toe with Bailey is Meredith. So and that's why her and Bailey sometimes they butt heads. Because Meredith is not a punk, and neither is Miranda. But at the end of the day, Dr. Bailey is like the person who groomed Meredith into who she is now. So there is a level of respect between the two of them, and I enjoy seeing them together. So Addison, like I said, Addison Montgomery, she's working with the interns, with Bailey and Joe, and they roped in Dr. Weber. Now, what do y'all think now? Comment down below, because Dr. Weber, he's kind of like going with the motions. I don't see anything specific about Dr. Weber. He makes mention of Catherine, but he's very zen this season. So I'm wondering what he's going to do. Is he just going to be that supporting role for the doctors? Or is something brewing at the surface that we really don't know about? Because Catherine has not been seen. Is she sick? What's going on with Catherine? So I'm trying to figure that out. It's definitely a lot. I feel like there's something going on in Dr. Weber's life that we don't really know about yet. So let's see what's up. So here is Bailey talking to Weber, and she's asking for privileges because one of the students do get sick. So this is the scene where she's asking for privileges. But so as Teddy and Owen are still arguing. I need them to get on the same page. Teddy just can't let go that Owen has lost all of their money with this whole situation. So Teddy is very upset, and she can't help but to argue with Owen. So they are bickering still. Um, Lucas Adams, which is Shepard's, Amelia's nephew and Derek's nephew, he still is not trying to be found out. So Addison immediately recognizes him and says, hey, Shep. And he's like, I got to get out of here. So he's like leaving and getting, he says, I'll do scut, I'll do whatever I have to. I just don't want to be involved with, with none of this, because if Addison lets it slip that I'm related to Amelia and Meredith, is going to get sketchy. So he's really trying to go under the radar with that. Let me look at my notes. So Addison is lecturing, because the interns really don't want to be a part of this. They like, I'd rather be doing surgical work, not this. So Addison starts lecturing them about the possibility of back alley A words. Now that Roe versus Wade has been overturned. So she's trying to let them know, like, this isn't just, something that is, whatever. This could really hurt a lot of lives, and this could, cause people to, get, very infections, all types of things can happen. So she's trying to let them know of the, possibility that's going on. So Griffith, she has been having issues with her grandmother who has Alzheimer's. So Griffith is, she's, doing the intern thing with everyone else about the sex education. So Griffith's grandmother, who is played by Marla Gibbs, she comes into the ER. So she's greeted by Lucas Adams, the intern, and he, is trying to figure out, like, she's looking for her daughter Denise. Now we all know from episode 1 that Griffith's mother died giving birth to her. So because her grandmother has Alzheimer's, she doesn't live in our reality. She is back, when Simone was born. That's where her mind is. So so she's saying, I'm looking for my daughter Denise. She's in labor. So Lucas is trying to help Griffith's grandmother to find this woman. So as he's looking and trying to find out, he pulls it up on his iPad and finds that Denise is deceased and has been deceased a long time ago, and also sees that she had a baby named Simone Griffith. So that's where it's like, ding, ding, ding. This is Simone Griffith's grandmother, and she is having, she has dementia or Alzheimer's. So he's kind of like, trying to figure out what to do about that. So as the doctors and the interns are giving their lecture about the sex education and all that kind of stuff, one of the students is like, I guess it registered her that, oh shoot, I missed my period, I'm late. So she runs out, and Addison is sitting on the steps. And Addison is like, dealing with some issues, and she's talking to, I'm assuming maybe a husband or something. But she's talking to them and, saying, just kind of, but I feel like something's going on with Addison as well. Like, I feel like this is going to start playing out later in the season, that something is really going on with some of these doctors. So Addison is, on the phone, and she's just kind of like trying to smooth things over with whoever she's on the phone with. Meanwhile, this girl, one of the students, runs out, and she's like, she looks, very scared. So Addison, finds out what's going on, and she reveals to Addison that she is now late. And so Addison was like, well, we need to get a test and figure out, get the facts. Let's go ahead and find out what's going on. So the girl starts to panic, my mom is going to kill me. I can't take care of a baby. So Addison kind of calms her down and said, let's just figure out what we're working with at this point. So come to find out, Zola, she has been having her panic attacks. So Meredith has been keeping her out of school while she's been dealing with the panic attacks. So, Zola is over it. Meredith is in surgery, so Zola is over it. So she starts wandering around the hospital to see if she can go watch some surgeries, because that's what she really wants to do. So she runs into Dr. Marsh, Meredith's boo, and he's like, you shouldn't be out here. And she's like, yeah, don't tell my mom. But she says, I want to do some other stuff. She wants to do some, watch some surgery. So he takes her to a skills lab, and Zola immediately starts doing the skills, and he didn't even have to tell her. So she's basically a natural. So I'm excited to see what this is going to bring, because I feel like this might be foreshadowing what the end of Grey's Anatomy is going to be, y'all. So I'm really invested in this, and I feel like Zola is going to be the when Grey's Anatomy does end. Oh my God, I don't even want to think about it. But when it does, I bet you Zola is going to be in the OR. I'm almost willing to bet she's going to be in the OR at this point, and Meredith is going to be watching her first surgery. It's going to be something to that effect. I'm getting chills just thinking about it. So Marsh is seeing that Zola is a natural at this. She is very ambidextrous, and that's what you need as a surgeon. So she's able to move these little pieces easy with the little things. I don't know what you call it. So she's able to move through, rather quickly with it. And he didn't even have to tell her how to do it. He said, it took me a while to catch on to that, and you just did it without any problems. Derek is smiling down. Oh my God, Derek is a proud father at this point. I really feel like he is. So, and so he ends up starting to do other cognitive tests with Zola, because now he knows this something different about Zola. She is gifted. So he starts to, want to do a little bit more testing to kind of figure out. So in walks Kai, and Kai, and Marsh go way back to Mayo. So, Kai is noticing that Zola is getting through these puzzles quickly, very quick, almost too quick. So she was like, this is not normal. Adults can't even get through it as fast as she's getting through it. So Zola, they started doing, they're mesmerized at this point. And so they bring in Maggie and Amelia, because Meredith is in surgery. So they bring in Maggie and Amelia, and so they can see, how Zola is getting through these cognitive puzzles so quickly. So they're all like, wow, it's like watching the US Open, just watching her go, and how flawless she's doing all this stuff. So I almost feel like a proud mother, but it's just kind of like, they're like, okay, Zola is on a different level, and she needs to be challenged more. She don't need to be in school. So the interns have their scripts that Joe made, and they are not feeling it. It's very boring. It's a bunch of facts. And as they're reading it to the students feel the same way. They're like, ugh, yawn. So the students are not enjoying it. And while they're listening to the interns spit out all of these facts, one of the students has a medical emergency. And so, of course, Bailey jumps in and is to the rescue. And so is Addison at this point. Is it Addison? I think it was Addison. They jump in to help her, because something is, this girl is tachycardic, and, she's going through the motions. So they definitely try to figure out what's going on with her. And that's why Bailey asked for privileges. For this girl. So this scene is showing Meredith looking at Griffith, because Meredith has now figured out that Griffith's grandmother is dealing with Alzheimer's, and we know Meredith's connection to Alzheimer's. So prior to this scene, when the student had the medical emergency, Lucas ends up going to find, tell Simone, your grandmother is here, and, she's looking for her daughter. So immediately Simone, which is Griffith, she gets, very embarrassed. So she's like, I'll handle it. And so she's talking to her grandmother and said, mom died. She's dead. She's not, I am, the daughter. And so this gets her grandmother all up in a tizzy. So Meredith is, talking to a patient's family. So she's overhearing what's going on. Her Alzheimer's antennas go up. So when she saw that, she was like, oh, okay, I know what needs to be done. So she calms down her grandmother, Simone's grandmother. She calms her down and gets her into a place where she can kind of like, she's not like overwhelmed with the information that she was just given. So Simone goes out. She needs time to herself. She's overwhelmed. She's just, I think she's embarrassed. She don't want her business out there like that. So now her business has been brought to the hospital and is now on blast, and happened in front of the chief, no less. But little does she know, the chief understands this completely. And so Meredith tells her, like, my intern year, my mom came in. She also had Alzheimer's, early onset Alzheimer's. And she was out of it, trying to go to surgeries. She said, I understand exactly what you're going through. So they have their moment, and I thought that was very special because Meredith is able to assist one of the interns to get through, this, because she knows it all too well. And I really enjoy Meredith as the chief of surgery. And I know she don't want it. Meredith is that type of girl. She's just like, just give me a knife and just let me cut. I don't want all of the fame and fortune, but she's really, really good at it. I really enjoy Meredith as the chief. So she's able to help Griffith through this time. Now, like I said, something's going on with Addison, and I just don't know what it is. She's just not herself. And I feel like, Weber has said to Addison, was like, okay, what's going on? You're doing too much work. What is really happening with you? And I feel like this whole Roe versus Wade overturn thing has really weighed down on Addison, because she is getting an influx of students or girls or young girls in her practice who are now wanting to tie their tubes, who are wanting to do things that is making long-term decisions for short-term situations. And it's weighing down on her, because she's very invested in women's health. And so she's noticing that there's an uptick of girls coming in wanting to make permanent changes, hysterectomies, when they don't need it yet. So it's just kind of like, she sees where this is going, and I feel like it's weighing a lot on her. So Dr. Weber invited her to the house to have dinner with him and Catherine, who we haven't seen yet. So one of the student who had the medical emergency, it ends up that she had a huge ovarian cyst. So guess what? Bailey and Addison are in the OR. It was great to see Bailey back in the OR, because she's been gone for about 6 months now. So it was great to see her in the OR again. And Bailey was glad to be in the OR again, quiet as it's kept. So they're helping the girl, with her cyst, and Addison is doing whatever she can to make sure she retains her fertility. So meanwhile, back at the sex ed presentation for the students, they're trying to teach the kids about consent. So Millen, one of the interns, she suggests that they should get a married couple. So she asked Winston to get Maggie to do it with him, and Winston, he's like, no. And so she falls on Teddy and Owen, the Bickersons, and they've been bickering. So this is funny to have them on here talking about consent. So Owen is being very forceful with his delivery, and Teddy's looking at him like, what are you talking about? So Teddy goes into talking about the erogenous zones, and the students are in it. They are in it to find out about all the erogenous zones and what they, how to, consent and ask a woman, and this is how you make it pleasurable and stuff like that. So it was funny to watch them. So the interns started teaching the students about having the big O. And so the students are engaged at this point. This is the stuff that you don't hear in sex ed, but this is what the doctors and the interns are giving them, and they are into it. Um, so meanwhile, the little girl who was late, Addison is in surgery, so she can't deliver the news. So she tells Schmidt to deliver the news to the little girl because she needs to get that information like ASAP. So come to find out, she is in fact pregnant. And so she's trying to get all of her options because she says she does not want to have a baby at this point. So Schmidt does give her her options and she opts to go for the A word, a medical A word. So yeah, so Schmidt, does that, and and gives her all of the what she needs to do, and what she should expect. And Addison, when she comes out of surgery, she lets her know, like, look, here's my information. If you have any problems, don't hesitate to reach out to me and stuff. So yeah, it was, this has been very informative. It's very is very relatable to what's going on right now and what some people may be dealing with. So moving on, so the doctors do a cute little reel to to get their point out there, to put on TikTok or whatever they're putting it on, whatever platform they're putting it on. So the doctors are dancing and pointing while they're doing the facts to grab the young people's attention because Bailey understands that this is what the kids are into, so we need to meet them where they're at. So after that, Dr. Marsh, gets Meredith and they tell her Zola is like a natural. Like Zola is gifted and and that could be, and Kai explains to Meredith, like this could be the reason for her panic attacks because she just doesn't know, doesn't fit in because she is highly gifted. And Meredith gets kind of annoyed because she was like, I didn't tell y'all to be testing my child and stuff. Like, you kind of overstepped your bounds. And I get it, but they're friends, Meredith. I don't think they meant Zola any harm. So this starts to bring up feelings in Maggie. Maggie was Zola at one point in time. She moved through school. She was skipped, many grades because of how gifted she was. And she said, talked about how lonely she was, the bullying, and all types of things. And Amelia asked Maggie, like, how did you get through it? And she said, I had a really good child psychiatrist to help her through those things. So she said that's what got her through because she was so different from the other students, but she was so much younger. It would cause hardship for her, and she doesn't want that from Zola. And then she started beating herself up, like, why didn't I see that similarity in Zola? She was like, she doesn't she was kind of beating herself up about it. But Amelia, told her, like, it's not your fault. There's nothing wrong with not seeing what you saw in Zola. It's just like you're very close to her. So sometimes you just don't see things like that. But she said, we're going to do right by Zola. We're going to make sure she gets all the help that she needs. Zola has a tribe. She has a community. She has Meredith. She has Dr. Marsh now. She has Amelia. She has, she has Maggie. She has Winston. So she has a great family that is going in a family full of doctors at that. So she's going to be able to get the help that she needs. But I think Meredith was just annoyed that, she didn't see it either in her. And so she's at this scene right here, her and Dr. Marshall walking, and he was like, are you still mad? And she's trying to be mad at him, but that's her boo. She ain't gonna stay mad for him. So Lucas tells Lucas, kind of Lucas and Griffith Simone, they now both have secrets that they both know about. So Griffith kind of blackmails Lucas and tells him, look, if you don't tell my secret, I'm not going to tell your secret. And so he was like, what you talking about? He said, I know you're a shepherd. So she says, if you keep my secret, I keep your secret. And now I'm starting to see a little something between these two. So it seems like I think she and him are going to end up They're gonna be in a relationship. I think it's going to be, they are going to have a relationship, but I think it's going to be a good relationship. It's going to be a Meredith and Derek type situation for these two. I really think that's going to be it. So Bailey, as the day ends, Bailey, is energized. She got to, be in the OR. So she tells Dr. Weber, like, look, I'm willing. He's like, when you coming back? She's like, I'm willing to come back, but on my terms. I want to reopen the clinic. I want to be able to use the clinic for sex education, and to do things. And she says, I only want to be in the OR for 40 hours a week, and I'm not coming back as chief. So that she said, those are my terms, and it's non-negotiable. And of course, Dr. Weber gonna take those terms because he get to have his Bailey back. So I think that's pretty much it. Everybody was, at the end of the show, everybody, they trying out the erogenous zones that they talked about. So, Teddy and Owen get it on. Meredith and her boo, they have their little moment. Kai and Amelia have their moment. But then we also see that Link is rubbing Joe's feet. And we know that last season, Link was feeling Joe and Joe was scared. And they can't get on the same page. But as he was giving her that foot rub, I don't know if it's gonna go down, but it could possibly go down between Joe and Link. And I like them together. I really, really do. And she needs another boo after caressed and, blew her off with a letter. But tell me how y'all enjoyed this episode. I enjoyed this episode. I give it about an 8.5 out of 10. Tell me what you would rate this episode. Are you liking the possibility of Simone and Lucas together? Also, the other intern, Quan and Millen, I think they got together too. They said it's going to be a one-time thing, but it ain't going to be no one-time thing. So they're probably going to be an item. Yeah, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling this. Like I said before, Meredith is not going to be in all of the episodes, so I'm trying to figure out like why Meredith would leave. So the only thing I'm thinking of, because now they're talking about Alzheimer's again, like is she going to go back into the research of trying to research Alzheimer's, because that has always been a thing for her. Or is she going to take Zola somewhere to get tested? Is she going to, accompany Zola somewhere? Like, I'm trying to figure out what might happen to keep Meredith out, for all of those episodes. But we shall see. But it's definitely going to be something that takes her away from Grace Long for a little bit. And so who's going to be chief? I don't know. Maybe Dr. Weber will step up again. And I heard, well, I don't know, because Jackson Avery is coming back. Jesse Williams is supposed to be making his debut back on Grey's Anatomy. So maybe he'll be the chief. Who knows? We'll see. Again, comment down below what you rate this video. Are you liking this, these new interns? Are you liking what this season has got to offer so far with Grey's Anatomy? Let's interact. Let's talk about it. Let's flush these things out. And again, thank you for watching. I really, really appreciate every one of you. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified about all of my uploads. And again, it's been real. See y'all when I see y'all, but the next Ready to Love is coming up tonight, y'all. So look forward for that recap. I think it's going to be the reunion. So it's going to be a lot to talk about. So see y'all when I see y'all. Peace.